to discuss a news article that I found. I found it very interesting, and I thought maybe you would too. So, the question of the day is, flying while fat, is it worth your life? So, apparently, there was a woman, I believe she was in her 50s, possibly 56. I'm not 100% positive on that because I don't have the article pulled up. But she weighed 425 pounds, and she had gone on vacation to Hungary with her husband. And no one knows how she got there. Obviously, she flew, right? So um, apparently, that wasn't that big of an issue going. Now, they went on vacation, and while being on vacation, she had some health conditions, one being diabetes, the other being kidney disease. Now, I don't know if she gained weight while she was there or she was bloated, but apparently they were making some big issue over um, the airlines, over her weight. So the first airplane that she got on, I believe it was Delta, and she was actually in her seat with her husband. They were all on the plane, and they actually went and told her that she had to get off the plane because she was too fat. So, okay. Now, mind you, in most of and I know this because I'm fat and I fly. So, they say if you're overweight and you think that there's going to be any issue, that you should buy two seats if that's warranted. She bought two seats for herself, which technically she shouldn't, because whenever I fly with a family member, the only other person you're inconveniencing usually is your family member. So, but either way, she did what she was supposed to do. She followed their rules. Their rules said to buy two seats if you feel that your weight is a problem and you're going to take up more than your fair share. And that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I have never had to buy two seats, but if it came down to it and they said, well, you have a choice of either buying another seat or you have to wait, I would just buy another seat because it's in their rules. In their rules, that is the key point to me. In their rules, on their website, it even says it. It says it. And if you call and you speak to them, they say, well, we can't say for sure. It depends on how booked the flight is. If there's not a lot of people, then it's not really going to matter. Whereas if they are booked to the hilt and there are no other seats and you got somebody next to you, you've been in those seats. They are small. So if you have a little bit of girth to you and then the person next to you, they might not have as much girth, but they got some girth to them, then y'all are going to be uncomfortable. So I can almost understand that. I mean, is it fair? I don't know. It's kind of like everything. Big girls pay more for their clothes. So maybe it's, one of those things. So anyway, I digress. So on the way back, everything seemed to be going swimmingly. She was on the plane. They told her she had to leave because she was too big, and I guess the weight of the plane couldn't handle her weight or something to that effect. So, okay, whatever. Then they tell her, well, the problem is our plane is small. You probably need a bigger plane. So what we're going to do is you need to go to Prague, which was 5 hours from where they were. Go to Prague and get on a plane there because they have bigger planes. Okay. So she does that. They drive 5 hours from where they were to Prague to get on this plane. Great. She's on the plane. They're trying to fit her into the seat. They can't get the seatbelt around her. She is a rather girthy woman. It looks like, to me, she resembles somebody who is probably 5 foot. And at 425 pounds, she was very round. Should not matter. I've used a seatbelt extender before. I don't see why it wouldn't have fit. And if not, seatbelt extenders can connect. And here's the thing, if they say that it's a safety issue, I really don't see it as a safety issue because let's look at it this way. If you're going to crash, you got 50-50 chance anyway. So, I mean, you don't know. So, I don't see how that is actually a safety thing. So, they could have hooked two safety belts together and made it bigger. They could have done that. I don't see any. They connect just like a seatbelt and they connect to each other. So, I feel they were very much at fault for that. They were very much at fault for the first one. But this one, the captain actually came out of the cabin and said, look, she's got to go. She's just got to go. Now, she's got on the plane twice now. Twice. So, then they say, well, they spent nine days. I guess you can notice this really irritates me. This really gets me because I guess because I am overweight myself, I can imagine myself in this position, and she has all these health issues, and it's just she should not be being treated like this. It doesn't matter if she weighed 500 pounds. But here's the kicker. Let me point this out. Not only was she 425, she's missing a leg, the bottom part of her leg, like her calf and her foot. So this is a disabled woman who they should be bending over backwards to help. And it has nothing to do with her weight, just the fact that she is disabled. Curly hair everywhere. She is disabled and she needs to go home. She was from the Bronx. She was from New York. She's American, and she's in Hungary. They were born in Hungary, and I guess they live here now. Well, so they put her off the second plane. They tell her there's going to be a third one. Now, I have to give it to the third people. The third plane, I think by this time, she was already far gone because she hadn't had her medicine. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. The third people, they turned around and they did everything in their power to get her on the plane, and they couldn't even get her on the plane. They had firefighters there to help put her in the seat. What happened in those 9 days that went from she got on 2 planes just fine to the third one? They couldn't even lift her into the seat. Something disastrously went wrong, and that is just very sad. Well, it turns out she had all those medical conditions, and when you go on holiday, you don't take a ton of your medicine. I don't even think you're allowed to take a whole bunch of medicine. But anyway, she didn't go to the doctor while she was there because she said they didn't know her history, and they didn't know her particular case. I'm guessing is what the husband meant when he said they didn't know her history. So I'm going to, and this is what I told my daughter. I told everybody, if it were me, somebody better make me go to the hospital, because if I am at a point that something is not right, I need to go to the doctor. I'm not going to sit and say, well, I'm just waiting until I get home. No, I don't care if they don't know anything. One thing about people who have medical issues, you know what medicine you're on, you know pretty much how much you take. You know if you're diabetic, you know if you take insulin or if you just take a pill, if you got high blood pressure. Anything could have happened to this woman during all this time. She could have had a stroke. She could have done anything. I don't know exactly how it happened, but she did die. She died waiting to come back. She was actually buried in Hungary because they could not get her back here. So, her husband sued Delta, and I think it's called KW or something. I'm not 100% sure the second people, but they were probably like a sister company of Delta. So they settled out of court. He was suing for $6 million. They settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. I hope he got a mint, because if that were my mom or a member of my family, I would have been having a fit. There would have been no stopping me. You would have put me out of the airport. You would have had to call the police on me, because how do you put her off of 2 planes and then she digressed so bad that she couldn't even get on the third, which was a bigger plane? They killed that woman. They should have just let her stay on the first plane. I don't understand. Because if the problem was the plane being too heavy, what they could have done is redisperse some luggage. They've done that before. Put it on another plane going to the same place. They can do that. They should not. She had a disability, and I'm not talking her weight. Weight can be a disability, but not having a foot is a big disability. And it makes you wonder if, as a heavyset person, if you want to continue giving these people your money who don't value your life. They don't care that you're in another country. They don't they don't care that you know, need medical attention. Nothing. You know, I just I don't understand, and I'm really glad that they did settle out of court, and I do hope he got a lot of money for that, and I hope that Delta lines out their policies, because that's what really needs to happen. If they have a policy saying we can kick you off the flight even if you do what we say to do, nobody's going to fly. Because just because they did it to her because she was fat, they might do it to you because you're too skinny. They need to even out the weight. And, well, if they kick you off at 100 pounds, it'll even it out. I, it's not acceptable. That's not acceptable behavior, and I think that people should choose trains. Hell, I told my daughter maybe they should have taken a cruise. It would probably cost the same amount. It's expensive to come from Hungary to the United States, and she would have probably had way better time. And there are doctors on board, so if something went wrong, then she would have been able to get help. So, you know, boats, trains. I think if you weigh over 250 pounds, you should not take a plane. I think that if they see, wow, we had a really large drop in people, wonder what happened. Well, what happened was you discriminate against people because of their size and their disability, so you don't deserve to have customers, and that's how I feel. So, tell me if you like, comment, subscribe. Thanks. Bye.